Okay, I've got a question. What do an overseas flight, a set of 3 ghosts, and a Scroogy CEO have in common?
Well, somehow, believe it or not, they are all key plot points in 2025's Christmas Above the Clouds, part of Hallmark's Countdown to Christmas. And we've got a lot to talk about, Josh.
We do, Jennifer. We'll unwrap it all for you on this episode of Do You Watch What I Watch?
Sit down and watch, then have a talk with Jennifer and Josh.
Well, going into this year's Countdown to Christmas, Jennifer, there was a lot of anticipation for this one because you've got a reuniting of sorts between Tyler Hynes and Erin Krakow. It had been a while since they've been in a movie together.
Yeah, they were in It Was Always You. I don't remember what year that came out, but it was a very good one of, I usually stick to the Christmas movies, but it's not a seasonal holiday movie. It was just a really good rom-com, more on the rom than the com probably, but it's a really good one. I do recommend it if you haven't seen it. So, between the Wincalls, the Hardys, and the Heinies, they're a feral bunch, and they were excited to see this. The anticipation was through the clouds, some may say.
If you will. So without further ado, let's go. So we're off to a very jazzy start with this. I love the music that they picked throughout this entire movie.
It's really
And our boss lady, her name is Ella Neeser, is stomping into work. No cheer, no presents, all grouch. She's a CEO, and her team has delivered an advertisement for their trip company called Great Expectations Trips that is perfectly lovely, but features couples in love enjoying some post-Yuletide travel. This hits a nerve for a perpetually single, wildly unhappy Ella Neeser, as in Ebenezer, Ebenezer, and she demands a redo. So you can catch where this is going from go. Ella and her assistant...
She said she was single as an oyster. Is that something people say?
I've never heard of that phrase. I wondered the same thing. So, dear listener, if that's a phrase you've used in your vernacular, let us know in the comments because we are, as you hear, pretty curious. Yeah. I don't know.
When I've never eaten oysters personally, surprising to no one, but when there's a tray of oysters served as a dish, I feel like there's multiples. Like they look like a little community of oysters.
Yeah, I've heard of happy as a clam, but never single as an oyster. So who knows? If you do know, let us know. Anyway. Ella and her assistant are taking the New York to Sydney flight, which is the longest flight in the world and literally skips a day, so she'll be avoiding Christmas in the best way possible. Her team, however, still has to make the ad revisions happen, so they will be working, and they are not happy about it. Now, her assistant is this woman named Bobby, not Bob, Bobby, and she has a son named Tim, and he is, in fact, tiny, so... Tiny Tim. She's off to say goodbye to him while Ella cleans up her inbox in their 55-degree office hubble. What? 55 degrees.
Bonkers. Bonkers. No.
I would die.
She said they can layer.
Exactly.
And wear those tacky Christmas sweaters they love this time of year.
So funny. Now, Ella's computer pops up some December memories featuring cute photos of her canoodling with Tyler Hynes as Jake, and a small smile emerges. A call from her cheery sister interrupts this trip down memory lane. She picks up the photo Bobby got her of Ella and her mentor, who grimaces oddly at her from the photo. What is happening? A little bit of magic. So Jake shows up at the airport, go figure. He's her ex-fiancé, we learn, and they haven't seen each other in 6 years. She dumped him on Christmas Eve. Ouch.
Heartless.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, this airport seems to be lit by candlelight. It was very dim in this airport.
It was. Now that you mention it, it really was.
Very intimate. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. Ella wants away from the Christmas and the over-the-top flight attendant is jingling all of the way for their 20-hour flight. The rest of the flight crew is certainly in on the antics. So she's hopped this flight. She's going to go to Australia. Turns out her ex-fiancé, Jake, is on the very same flight. Now, Bobby, also on the flight, is not sitting in first class with Ella. She's back in coach next to a woman who is eating sardines. Ugh.
She's in the middle seat, which is unfortunate for that long of a flight anyways. And then who eats sardines? I thought that was just like something pregnant women ate in their ice cream, like on sitcoms. But she had the can and it was just like peeled back.
Nope.
I don't do odors. I can't. I would have
That's
lost
so
it.
bad.
No,
So
thank you.
bad. Yeah. She's on the phone with her son who needs an inhaler. So we get that Tim has some sort of medical issue involving asthma. Ella interrupts this conversation, demanding a neck pillow, and is up back to first class where she runs into Jake. He's on his way to a child advocacy conference to speak about his charity work, as if you needed another reason to love this character. We learn the two of them used to love Christmas together, had plenty of their own memories before things went south. Are you liking the premise? Obviously, we are getting a very sort of Charles Dickens vibe throughout. Lots of winks, lots of nods. Are you in for it, Jennifer?
I am. And again, I was biased from Go because of who's in it. I tried to not be, but I was. But I think what I really liked is they do insert quotes from the original Christmas Carol, like things they say. I can't think right now of what any of them are, of course, because I didn't write it down. But much like Muppet Christmas Carol, which I really love, as silly as the Muppets are, I can't think of his name now either, but the guy that played Scrooge was very straight, very true to the Dickens of it all. And I think they try to do something similar here, which I appreciate, because we've seen the Christmas Carol remakes before, but I like that it was still whimsical and a fresh take, but they also were true to form on the original. Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense. Yeah.
What
So
did
Ella
you
puts
think at
on.
this point?
Well, I'm here for it 100%. I love the winks. I love the nods. And I like that it feels very modern at the same time, right? There's a lot of these sort of modern references that I think make it believable. So Ella dons her eye masks and she tries to drift off during the safety video, but we get a rather terror-inducing beam up here, a brief moment of peril. When the shades on the plane slam shut dramatically, the cabin lights turn red. It feels like the plane's about to crash, and we see her mentor, Marlene, as the star of the safety video. Now, her mentor is there haunting her and telling Ella this job as a flight attendant is her, Marlene's, torture for a life of mistakes, chasing business, and being altogether terrible as a person. She's wearing chains of airline seatbelts. And that's hilarious to me. I thought that was really
So
funny.
good. So creative. Good. Yeah. Love that.
And Marlene is laying out the premise here. 3 spirits will visit her in an effort to change her fate. So here we go. Ella wakes up. She reaches across the aisle and she grabs Jake's arm. She looks like she's seen a ghost because she quite literally has. He gives her a hard time about working so hard at Christmas. Ella puts her mask back on, tries to get a little bit of sleep. We hear the seatbelt ding once, and here comes the ghost of Christmas past. This is a very, very perky flight attendant who winds up pushing Ella from the plane to get her to go back to the past.
Yeah, that was terrifying. I didn't like that.
Terrifying. Yeah. Anyway, they land at her boarding school way back when. She sees a 10-year-old version of herself, lonely because their parents had to work overseas instead of spending Christmas with her and her sister. Then they blast off to grad school, where we see Ella in the library. She sees herself sleeping on Christmas Eve. Now, Jake, turns out he was working at the library back in those grad school days. He's there to wake her up and say, hey, the library's closing. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. There's some flirty banter between the two of them, and then they wind up leaving the library and gawk at the gigantic, lovely tree on their college campus. He gives her a ruby scarf, which is kind of a nod to what she was looking for early on in this one. And they talk about her dreams of building a travel company. He wants to help at-risk children. So she was very career driven from go. Now they are at an old work party and Jake and Ella dance. Sparks be sparking big time. There is a smolder, a brewing, the dance floor. There's a dip, the whole 9 yards. Of course, they're under the mistletoe at this party, and we get a very, I thought, for not even being a third of the way into this, a very passionate smooch out of the gate here. Yeah. Followed by a montage of fun Christmases past, which include her engagement to Jake. Then we see her relationship with Marlene unfold. Now, Marlene, of course, was her mentor. Now, Marlene was also a Grumpersaurus Rex about Christmas and everything related to the holidays, but promised Ella, that she will help Ella get everything she wants. And that apparently meant dumping Jake in the next vignette and being a grade A meanie to Bobby, whose son had an ER visit because of his breathing trouble, we gather, last Christmas. So altogether, we're getting the backstory on Ella, more of the backstory on her relationship with Jake. What are you thinking? Did Erin do a good job of playing a meanie? Because we normally see her play these really heartfelt, altogether lovely women. This is a very different kind of role for her.
And I was worried about that. Could she pull it off? I think she did. I mean, I don't want to show my Christmas cards too early, I guess, but I believed her. I did not like her in the beginning, and I think that's a testament to her and her acting and her immersing herself in this role. What did you think?
I thought the same. I was equally a little worried because she does, not to say she's typecast, but I think she tends to play a lot of these sort of Pollyanna kind of characters, and this is not that. And she did a great job, I thought, being unlikable in the first third. Yeah. Now, Ella's back on the plane. She pulls Jake into the most spacious lavatory I've ever seen on an airplane, especially because it's in coach. And it's literally the size of my office here, this bathroom on this airplane. Clearly not a real lavatory. And
or maybe you've just never flown to Australia on this flight. I mean,
that could be it. That could be
we didn't
it.
even talk about like the flight attendant guy in the beginning who was so extra that I would have been annoyed. And I love Christmas. Okay, this guy was it's like when you fly Southwest and then the flight attendants sing. Like I don't
And it's
really
like
need that.
this much too much. Yeah.
It's just a little much. Like I want you to be happy and keep the spirits up, but I don't need you handing out all this Christmas shenanigans. He kept singing the 12 days of Christmas. He wanted everybody to sing, and I thought at that point, I was like, man, if you don't love Christmas, navigating December would be a nightmare. Like if you don't celebrate it or you don't like it, it is everywhere. It would be a nightmare. So it would turn anybody into a Scrooge.
Yeah. So this lavatory bit winds up being kind of a running gag. When she comes back to the real life present moment, she's in the lavatory. So she's in the lavatory with Jake and exits, and she runs into a passenger who thinks that there's been obviously some shenanigans happening in the lavatory. Mile High Club kind of thing.
Were they thinking like Mile High Club or she ate a bad burrito at the airport? Like, it could have,
I think it was
either way
very
is
much
not
that.
great.
Not great. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, the conversation between these two continues when they're back to their seats in first class. She apologizes. This is good. She apologizes for the way she mismanaged things in a pretty sterile apology to him and gives him a hard time, jokingly, about his photo montage calendar project that he's working on for the family. Now, Ella's off to chase down the flight attendant for her dinner because she's not eaten yet. She's hungry. She wants a snacky. So she runs into the ghost of Christmas present instead of the real flight attendant. So here we go. This ghost is an extroverted pilot who invites her to a full Australian feast in the cabin. Soon enough, he grabs his little steering wheel, however you steer a plane, and he whips it around. And soon enough, they're off to the present to see her employees having their own unauthorized, off-the-books Christmas party. They think she's awful, and they are talking all about it. Then we blast to her sister's house. They're bad-talking her too, and her sister's trying to defend her, but says she hopes that she will someday change. Now they're off to Jake's charity to see him being amazing, and then they're off to the traditional dive bar Christmas that she used to do with Jake and their friends from graduate school in the past. Of course, she's not there. Finally, we're off to Bobby's house, and Ella witnesses Bobby's son, Tim, having breathing trouble. So She's seeing all of the impact of her life in the present moment. Soon enough, Ella is back on the plane feeling all kinds of conflicted and, dare I say it, convicted as well. She unpacks some of these newfound feelings with Jake and admits that she hasn't felt merry in a long time. He tells her it's not too late and grabs her hand. Boy, Tyler Hynes just does this sort of like supportive guy so brilliantly, just very even Steven kind of acting from him throughout.
And a lot of good face acting too. You know, you can see there's like pain on his face, like he doesn't want to fall back into the trap because he's trying to move forward with his life, but this was the love of his life, so he, you know, he's under a spell when he's in front of Ella.
So we've got one more ghost here. This is the ghost of Christmas yet to come, and he's an air marshal. He pokes her in the eye. Yeah.
Real quick, why is the ghost of Christmas present always portrayed eating a lot? Like in multiple depictions, again, Muppet Christmas Carol, it's this big puppet guy in this furry coat thing, and he's in front of all this food. But I feel like, you know, all the greats, like the Mickey Christmas Carol I've seen, I feel like it's similar. They're always feasting. I don't know what that's about. Maybe, I don't know if that's part of the original. I've never, like we've talked about before, I've never read the original Dickens, but.
Interesting. That's a good observation.
If you know, listener, let me know in the comments.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm a dum-dum, but it seems like they really be grubbing in the present of Christmas.
They do. Yeah. They don't be grubbing and they don't be talking in the future, apparently, because true to form.
I always hate the future part.
This air marshal pokes her in the eye, I guess. It was very odd. Yeah. They're off to her office where they are cleaning out her office and planning her funeral. Then they're at Francis's house. Jake is there. He shows up with flowers and turns out he now works as a lonely librarian. Then they're off to Bobby's house. Tim has also passed away, and it's all very heavy in this part of the movie. She has an encounter in the graveyard, as we've come to expect from A Christmas Carol, and she pledges a turnaround. This was a very heavy, very emotional, tears be tearing in this particular scene for her.
I feel like it took her a long time to realize she was dead.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like I would have thought when they're cleaning out your office and planning what is quite clearly your funeral that you would gather that you were in fact dead.
Right. She was like, who are they talking about? Like just a wee bit too long. I thought it was strange. Like, put it together, Ella. Aren't you supposed to be smarter than this?
Maybe. Yeah.
Denial. We're denying our grief and our death.
Could be. Yeah. So she's back on the plane in real time. Turns out the plane had an unexpected landing in Utah, and Ella has landed in Utah a changed woman. She's determined to make it right with Jake. She's determined to make it right with Bobby. And this redemption tour is really so satisfying here. This is the Erin Krakow that you know and you love from Hallmark, being all kinds of heartfelt and lovely and beautiful. Ella and Jake wind up having a heart-to-heart in an empty diner. She promises to change. Magically, music starts playing, and the two of them start dancing, and then they kiss. It's very, very warm, soft lighting in this scene here, and really quite lovely. Now we're at Ella's sister's place in Utah, having the merriest of Christmas. We get to see the Christmas unfold at Bobby's house because Bobby's son Tim, Tiny Tim, had wished for his mom to come home for Christmas, and what do you know? Santa delivered, because here comes Bobby flying through the door. We get a holly jolly montage. Christmas has been saved. Ella has been resurrected and is a woman changed, and we fade to black.
It's time for Gold or Coal.
Okay, friends, it is time for our Gold or Coal segment. We are each going to bring 3 gifts to the podcast. This time, if there's more gold, it's smooth sailing. If there's more coal, it's full of turbulence. And if there's a tie, it's just a meh. Merry Christmas, Josh. I'm coming to you first.
I'm going to start with gold. I thought these leads were so good together. I mean, I really bought Erin Krakow in this role. I think it was certainly a different role, like we said, for her, but I thought she knocked it out of the park. Really like Tyler Hynes in this role. I wish he would have had a little bit more to do. Like, obviously, he's there to sort of be the supporting character for her and all of that, but at the same time, I thought they were great together. It's clear that they have spark and smolder, and I bought their relationship through and through. So gold for me to start.
Hmm. I will give some gold. I loved the fresh take on a classic tale. They found a way to still make it interesting, make it new, and I really appreciated that.
Absolutely. I will also give gold in that regard. I really like these Dickens twists and winks and nods that we got throughout. And there was even one, she had this annoying boy passenger in front of her in first class who really wanted math problems. And so Jake gave him some math problems. And then he has this line where he goes, "Please, sir, I'd love some more," which is a throwaway line from Oliver Twist, also Charles Dickens. So there was a lot of that
Yes.
going on throughout this. And I just thought that that was really clever. If you knew anything about Dickens, you were picking up on some of those Easter eggs throughout, and I love when they do that with a good script.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like somebody needs to make a list, like writing all the Easter eggs down because I'm sure you could watch it multiple times and still probably not catch everything they were doing. It
I'm
was very
sure.
smart, very smart.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give some gold. I really love the ending because a lot of times, Scrooge flings open the door and he's gonna buy a turkey for the town and he's a changed man and da da da. But this time she was in the air and they had to divert to Utah, which is where her sister was, and he was gonna come to her sister's house with her. I liked that they diverted it that way and where she still got to spend Christmas with her family. I thought that was really special. And she got to do the what was it? It wasn't was it charades that they played? Like a Christmas
Yeah.
game that
Movie charades.
she had seen in one of the ghost montages and she's like, "Oh, that was so fun." And she wasn't even there in the present. So like being able to do it for real life, I liked that a lot.
Good, good. Yeah. And my last gift will be gold. I thought this one was just really heartfelt, really Christmassy, great message. I mean, A Christmas Carol has a great message through and through, but like you said, I thought this was a fresh take on it, really had some nice modern application, and I think could really appeal to a lot of people at this time of year to really question their priorities and really question, the direction of their lives. And I love that when a movie can do that, not just entertain you, but get you thinking. And I think this has the capacity to do it. So loved it for that reason.
A gift will be gold. Poor Erin Krakow, kind of like what we've already said. I was worried that she couldn't nail the Scrooge of it all because she just doesn't seem that Scroogey of a person in real life.
Hmm.
But hey, these are actors for a reason, right? I thought she nailed it, but still, it also had her high risk of cheese. Like it could have been really hokey, really forced, but I thought she was super believable as this evil woman. Like it was like Devil Wears Prada vibes, like, just the
Very.
stuff that was coming out of her mouth, it was like, "Oh, you are such a jerk," like and that's what you want, that's what you wanna believe, and you wanna buy into it all, and then really the transformation at the end, it makes it like, the payoff that much better, so I
Yeah.
thought she nailed it. This is one of the best roles I've seen her in, we've talked about some of her other movies last year, Santa Tell Me was really fun, but I think the guys, all the Nicks almost took away from her a little bit, her performance. This is a standout Erin Krakow performance. Very good.
Yeah. I thought it was just really great from start to finish. Good production value too.
Mhm.
Really enjoyed the way it was shot and all of that. So at the end of the day, we had 6 pieces of gold. That's kind of a rarity for us. Absolutely, we'd watch this one again. And home run of a movie here, 6 gold. So we're going to say it is smooth sailing. Final thoughts for you,
That's right.
Jennifer.
We had a couple listeners give their thoughts, and I had it pulled up, and of course, it just X'd out rude. All right, hold please. We have listener Donna who said about Christmas Above the Clouds, it was the best rendition ever of A Christmas Carol with lots of heartwarming humor, some tears, and of course, all that love stuff that only Tyler and Aaron can authentically produce on screen. It was a magical production. It was worthy of gold. Thanks for the tie into Golden Coal. We appreciate when you do that. And listener
Sure.
Kat said Christmas Above the Clouds was so good. She did a review. So if you are on Instagram, she's run_cat, KAT_run. You can give her a follow. She does lots of Hallmark content. Love that. She said it was pretty good. The dynamic duo did it again. It brought me I can't read tonight, I'm sorry. It brought me all the feels, and then she had not watched the other movie we're gonna talk about, so we'll get there. Stay tuned
Get
for
there.
that.
Stay tuned.
But
Yeah.
Josh, this is our third, so every week so far, or at least this is the third week in a row we've had a 6 gold movie. Are we getting too
Yeah.
soft, or are the movies just that good this season?
I just feel like they've started with some really strong ones. You know, they've started with some ones that they had some build up, that they had some early press on. We're not getting a lot of filler movies. You know, I fully anticipate that we will get some filler movies here and there that are not on the same par as the ones that we've loved so far. But I think it's a really strong start for the season. What about you?
I agree. And I mean, there's none that I've seen so far that I'm like, oh gosh, I would never watch that again. I mean, I think I was the lowest so far on Christmas on Duty, but still, it was cute. Like, I wasn't offended by it, and I was pleasantly surprised by Roy Montana Christmas. I think this goes to show that maybe, Hallmark, like we've talked about, went from like 40 new movies to what, 24 or something new movies this year. I do think there's an elevation of quality over quantity potentially. Now, we still have a lot of season left to go, but that's what I'm hopeful for at least. Give me fewer that are more solid than the smattering of that we sometimes get.
I love that smattering of, yeah. Anyway, regardless, whether it's a or whether it's yay, we're going to be here to discuss it all. And that, friends, is another episode of Do You Watch What I Watch? Hey, if you're watching us on YouTube, do us a favor, go ahead and bop that like button and hit subscribe. That way you'll get your first notification whenever our new episodes drop.
That's right. Special thanks as always to Nick Schwartz for our theme song, and thank you for listening and watching. Next time, we're going to go over to Up TV and take a trip to a cabin in a snowy, wooded, beautiful scene for a movie called The Great Christmas Snow-In, starring Joey Lawrence, whoa, from Blossom Fandom.
Whoa.
All right, so that was good.
Yeah, I've been practicing all week.
Have you been practicing? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Well, here's the plot summary. Justin retreats to a cabin meant for his honeymoon, but is snowed in with Jane, his ex-fiance's cousin. A spark forms between them when Justin's ex comes with her boyfriend. Secrets and discoveries about love and second chances reveal. That's worded really funny. And that's only the tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. It is an episode I can guarantee we haven't recorded yet, but you're not going to want to miss it. So make sure you've subscribed and followed and done all the things, because we have a lot to discuss. But until then,
may your days be merry and bright. We will see you for an exciting episode next time.